Hello, everybody. I'm Tal Griffin. Uh, Disclaimer: this is not affiliated with any sect, religion, faith, practice. We do not recognize any of those in here, just to keep the ground neutral and be hollowed. So, and along with that, that no political views or topics will be accepted in here. If brought so, one warning will be given, and then if it's continued, we'll be asked to leave. And so from there, I would like to welcome those with me, James, JT, and our little computer elf genie, Julie. How y'all doing today, guys? If it weren't for her, man, my life on a computer would be hell. So
Mine's not much better there, Tal. So, woo.
it's what it is. But yeah, what I was thinking about talking about today is how we might let ourselves kind of go off our path, just in that things happen that we might need to take a different way so we can be reminded of where we really need to be back to, which happens to all of us. And since I was not able to think of something today, this kind of came to mind, which due to topics I've talked with friends, and I've been there myself and probably a lot of other people. You know, it's easy to think that we're solid and in a good place when we are on our game, and that we think that we have this, and that a lot of things we believe, and we believe in ourselves and things that we were taught, and all the morals and ethics and character, that we are really solid at where we're at. And life does happen. So from there, we end up starting to just veer off, which happens, to the best of us. So I think that when we come to those points of that fork in the road of where and how did all this happen, we ask, like, what am I doing? Where am I going? How did I end up here? Where did I go astray? Did I get too cocky? Did I get too arrogant? Or did I just get too relaxed and complacent and just not notice it? We would like to think that those that are working to be examples, that we are foolproof. Well, in a way, that couldn't be further from the truth. What kind of got me on this is that I didn't have a real topic to bring up today, and I was having some finger issues trying to get things to come up for topics or notes. So I thought, well, veering away. Let our shortcomings taking over for a little while. Being human. What do y'all think? James? Are we having technical difficulty? JT? Julie? Are we having technical
I can
difficulties?
hear you.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think, James?
Not being human.
Yeah, about we veer off of where we think that when we think we're solid, we think things are going great and our morals and principles, character, and just things just crop up our human nature. Just we veer off
Yeah, we
and
do.
things. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? What's your say on this?
That is hard to really. That's a hard subject to really think about. To be honest,
Okay.
I mean, there's been a couple times this year, this calendar year, that things were going pretty good, and then all of a sudden, got stressed out, and then I just shut down. Call it depression if you want to.
Right.
Last month we had a car go down back, the same car go down back to back. That could throw somebody off.
Right.
I mean, when you shell out $500 and turn right around just days later to have to shell out another $150, that can sideswipe you. That's like hitting you with a 2x4, across the head.
Right.
Or
right.
sucker punching you. You're like, you're gasping for air.
Yeah.
It's like, sheesh.
Yeah, it's like what's going on here? What did I do?
I mean, you yourself, your car died.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Things happen, but that's just life.
Mm-hmm.
But it can knock you for a loop.
It really can, and that's so true. And then what about like when the other things that we've worked really hard to like get away from, we slip a bit. We allow ourselves to like kind of go back into, as some say, our lower nature, our like I digress mode. Yeah. And I know that, when people do these little podcasts and they want to like put out material and everything else, but there are days I think that we just got to like let who we are just actually be seen, be heard. In some ways, maybe it's more relatable because my head was not in the game today. I'm getting on here and I'm going, hey, we got somebody else.
Just me.
Oh, what, you switched over.
Trying.
Get rid of your phone or something, man.
Trying.
All right. I see a forehead. Hey, there he is.
But I'll tell you something though that I really, really like, is that has helped me during those crazy times. I don't care how big or how strong you think you are, and
right.
sometimes you need help from the little people. Okay.
No, that's all good, man. It's like those little Christmas elves, It's like, hey, Santa Claus, what's going on today? Oh, I just can't get the reindeers to work. Those.
But that was actually a little jab, by the way, to our little genie over there.
I'm not here, man. I'm not here, dude. I'm just not with it today.
But I'll tell you what, though, Julie has been a tremendous asset to us at the COJK and just everything she does in the background.
Yeah.
And tremendous young lady that I think, but she has put up with some of the most ridiculous antics and situations from me. And I don't know about you, but probably you too.
Oh, it's gotten interesting a couple times.
That I'm just thankful that she's been in the corner, and providing the support that she has. And the thing is, it's not just her, but she's just a prime example. Yet when you've got someone in your corner like that,
Yeah.
it makes a world of a difference.
Oh yeah.
It really, really does.
No kidding, man.
And I'm thankful. I really am for when you have someone like that, when you're going through the proverbial all hell is breaking loose situations.
Right.
And when you have that going on, you've got someone in your corner that's saying, come on, James, get in there, fight. Or take all the time you need, man. I got you covered.
See, that's
Jediism.
That is where there's an understanding.
It's also humanism too.
Yeah, yeah, very much so, very much so. And I wish she wouldn't be so quiet, because get her on here, she's like she's like that little mouse. But you get her in private, oh my God, it's like, where did you come up with this? And oh man, like that there's it's like, we'll talk about languages, right? Where philosophies come from. Okay. And they've been some of the most interesting conversations and highly educational. Highly. Some have a lot of historical significance to them.
Well, the thing of it is, when she was my Padawan, coming through, coming up through the ranks, and we had a lesson. She dwarfed me.
No way. Yeah, you got it too.
Joke.
You got it too.
Yeah. And we've actually talked about this, Tal, a couple times, but
yeah,
it's nice to be able to reiterate it.
Right.
From time to time. But what the subject was perspective and perception.
Yeah, we've covered that and talked about.
Yes, we have.
Yeah,
and I had a lesson about this big. Yeah, she took it to this big.
A whole nother level. A whole nother introspective level on it.
I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm sizzle fried. Stick a fork in me. It's like, bye-bye.
Yeah, but the cool part is that in that in that relationship, when you've got a master, you've got a student, right? Mentor, student, mentoree, all of that, right? That's part of what's supposed to happen.
You're supposed to learn from each other.
Yeah, because
when the master can't learn from the student, there's something wrong.
Exactly. And it's caused me to think about things. And really and truly, here's where I've got to also hand credit. Julie, I think we're kind of stroking your ego in this one today.
Majorly.
We don't really talk about the behind the scenes people. We really don't, because we only give one face value here, right? There's only
I'm just kind of like, you're talking about me a lot.
Well, you know what? We got to
pretend we love you.
We got to give credit where credit's due, even though maybe we think that maybe you should be locked in the closet and just fed Oreos and water most of the time. But,
Hal, I don't believe you just said that.
She's actually really a good person, and she's growing. She's really growing, because when we first met, she was kind of reserved, right? But then after she warms up, it's kind of like, what's happened here? She's like a sponge. She's like that sponge. And then you go, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be the one teaching you, but here we are. We're like trading places for a moment. But that's where that what is going on and what's being taught and where you're heading with them is working. Because they're able to step forward and go, you know what? I remember in this conversation that he doesn't know, or they don't know. And plus, this is a hobby of hers. She's kind of what they call a polyglot. Okay, I think that's the word.
Say that again.
A polyglot. A polyglot. Yeah, it's like it's a person that knows different languages. And she's talked to me in this Yiddish thing, or whatever. And I'm like, what's that? And she's told me it's from where? Norway?
Sweden.
Sweden.
Swedish.
Swedish. Okay.
I had talked to you in Yiddish, but
Yes,
that's a
you
different
have.
language.
I
And
know
I'm going,
Latin.
what is this? Is she like drunk or what? It's like, where's this coming from? Because it's all slurry and kind of gargled sounding. And I'm like, whoa, hang on, back up. What did you just say?
Do I really sound like that when I
It's
talk to
well, for
Yiddish?
me, because I've never heard that. I've never heard, you know, you're the first person I've ever heard it from, right? And I'm like,
Swedish or Yiddish?
either one. Either one. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, wait. This isn't Julie. You know, and then I was like, oh, it is. It's like, where'd that come from?
See,
So
here's the thing about Jediism and humanism.
right.
I don't care who you are,
Mhm.
where you're from, what your background is.
Right.
You can learn something from just about everybody, regardless of their gender,
Right.
regardless of their status in life, being rich, poor, smart, or not,
Yeah.
whether they're young or old, it doesn't make any difference.
That's the beautiful part about it is that I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna pull a little bit of my own history out here, okay? Just a little bit. You know, I at one time was a practicing Christian, right? But due to life circumstances, whatever, is that I found that being more open to a lot of different things in many ways was more fulfilling. Though I don't have anything against Christianity, it just wasn't something that was a a practice for me because I felt too restrained and restricted. Okay. But however, I have found that through me turning away, as some people say, or finding a different way of the spiritual growth, okay, that I have found that through conversations with other religions, other faiths, other practices, that there's more to be learned from it.
Mhm.
And that it's like when Julie and me we've talked about some of the Eastern philosophies, okay, uh, and what they have developed or what's developed from those things. I'm hearing history in this,
Mhm.
and then I get things that I think about that I'm going, I never thought about it like that. I never thought that it would come from this because in one side of the street, okay, a lot of this is not talked about. It's like that name we shall not mention thing, okay? And so then when you start hearing how things have developed and how it transitioned into one thing and where things have been borrowed from, right? And then traditions that occur from that, you're going, well,
Mhm.
that sheds a whole different light.
It does. See, I am a true Christian. I have no,
Right,
I have no problem telling that. I don't back down from it. I
right,
don't hide it.
right.
But, 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 but,
Yeah,
but,
okay.
I do like looking at the various denominations and other religions out there
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because a lot of them have a tremendous amount of commonality.
In a lot of ways they do. In a lot of ways they do.
What I like to know, and I'll cut this part of it short because
Yeah.
I usually go one step further on it, but I like to know who they are, what they believe, how they believe it, and why. Cut.
Yeah, almost
And
what
but that's where you see, like, there's a particular teaching in the Bible that you find in that's the you reap what you sow, and
yeah.
that's the same thing as karma or
Right.
the yin and yang.
Yeah.
It's the same teaching,
Well, in
just
a
with
lot of ways, there is
with
actually scripture in the Bible where Jesus references sayings of the Buddha.
Oh.
But what I'm trying
Oh.
to say is sometimes, so it's just stated a little bit different.
Yeah, yeah.
and with a little bit of a different name to it.
Right,
But
right,
it's
right, right, right.
essentially the same teaching, and I like the commonality.
You know,
Well, there's a lot of evidence that all these that some of the religions had an impact on each other.
Mhm.
Like the knowledge was passed down somehow and then reinterpreted into different societies.
yeah. Yeah, see, we talk about these things, right? We'll talk about this, and sometimes topics that I talk about and put up here, it's from those conversations.
Yeah.
And it spurs and it triggers off this little mouse in my noggin, and it gets to turning that wheel because it makes me think. And that, talking to you, James, more. Okay. And that, I read, what was it? Oh, it was the passage that I read part of my testing to become master. Or what was it?
Mark?
Yeah, Mark. Okay, Mark. I read that.
The Gospel of Mark.
Yes, yes, yes. And so I was thinking about that, and I'm like, I heard something about the whole fishing thing, right? The and all that. And I'm like, okay, it's just some guy in a boat. But then I read further into it. I could have kept going.
Uh-huh.
But it was about spreading a message. Spreading something that people can chew on, that can try to live by. A planting seeds. But in that, let there be good that comes from it. And I've never heard it or thought about it in that sense. Once I read into it, I had to read it a few times to
Good.
get that. And I'm like, I'll be damned. This is much different than when last time I heard it, I was like a kid. Okay. And then I'm going, oh, wow. And of course, once we get older, we're going, wait, this is saying something different than what I heard when I was just a little wee lad.
Wee lad.
A wee lad.
Wee lad.
Don't make fun of me.
Why not?
James, you're glad I like you, man.
You're loved as well, so shut up.
Oh, it's all love, dude. It's all love, man. It's all love. But along with this, let's think about this, though. It's kind of opened the door to be okay and be around other people, too. Yeah, and I think if we all work to still stand behind our beliefs, right? Still go with them. I'm not saying everybody should leave what you believe in, but I think the open-minded, and that's where, okay, I'm that in Jediism, since we're kind of touching on everything, because this is kind of about everything here, is that there's a line in one of the codes, okay, that ignorance yet knowledge. Okay, so and I like to live by that one. That's kind of, in a way, kind of become the foundation, because from there, where can we go if we're not?
You get
If we're not
stalemated.
right, if we're not trying to learn to diminish that ignorance, are we really growing?
You get stagnated, and stagnated water stinks.
Exactly.
You're of no value.
And I think if it weren't for a lot of things, a lot of lessons, I call them things, but a lot of different lessons and things that I've heard, that there might have been times where, we wouldn't be having these conversations. And then when things just get bad, remembering those things that just kind of keep you holding on for a little bit. You know, there's this one song I heard, and it's by one of my favorite groups, Shine Down. Okay, it's called Daylight. Okay, and it in what I get from it is that when a person is just in that place, okay, and there's always somebody or something or or a belief that keeps one holding on until just the next moment, till the next day, right? And the lead singer, I I think his name is Brett. I think, don't quote me on this. Don't I think it is though, that he talks about that he came from a drug addiction. Okay. And maybe this might be speaking from that, or friends being there, or people just being there and helping keep that hope till just the next moment. And that group really does have a very positive message in what they sing. And that, not to cliche, but I gotta say it, that there's another title to one of their songs called A Symptom of Being Human.
Ooh.
Very good song. Okay, very good song. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to drop, and I'm not trying to advertise or drop for them, but that it's things like that, that this information we get is the same way. It's that friend. Those beliefs that we hear other things from that do keep us holding when the rope is fraying out so badly.
It's about to snap, then all of a sudden.
That for some reason or another, some way or another, you can like get yourself past that little frayed spot. And then things are going to be okay. And you know, one of the last things, I've still got the text that one of the last things my dad said to me. And that, and I've used this phrase a lot, and there's a lot of truth in it. He's like, I've given you a shovel. That one took me back for a moment. I'm like, oh.
Dig in.
Well, that, and also dig your way out. Find your way out.
I hadn't thought about the flip side, but yes, but dig into what dig in, dig deep.
Dig in, dig deep, and dig your way out. Get yourself out of where you are. Don't stop. Don't quit. And that also meant, in metaphorical senses, that I believe I've given you the tools. Now it's your time. Oh, yeah. And so we think back to when are things going to get better at times? When are things are just really crappy right now? When all hell's broken loose, you know?
Stuff hits the fan.
Yeah. That stinky frappe just slings. And it has just made a mess of everything, right? It's just like, oh wow. And it's like somebody threw a grenade in with it and blew the fan apart at the same time. You go, wow. And that you know how you see in those cartoons and stuff where, or in one of those movies or wherever, where the guy, where that one of the people or actors like all black and smoking and everything else, and he's just kind of like, and you see smoke bellowing off of him, and he's walking out, his clothes are all messed up and jacked up, he's all torn and everything. Like you're like, kind of like John McCain in Die Hard. That guy, you see him, he looks like he's really had a rough time.
He's dazed, confused, and tired and wore out, and you're just kind of like,
he just totally got his butt kicked by life for the moment, you know. But yet, coming back, we go, what is it that kept him going? And I think it was because there was something that was a reason, the purpose. You know, it's like Julie here, our little quiet mouse. But she was talking there for a minute. I'm kind of like, then she goes silent. She went back into her hole. So, you know, it's those conversations that get you to think.
Here's another little thought, though.
Yeah.
You use that John McClane in the Die Hard movie.
Yeah.
He had a thread to hold on to. And that was the thought of getting back to his wife.
Oh. Wow.
That was his last thread of hope to get through, that motivated him to get through all that garbage he was going through.
Oh. You know what? I can see that. I can see that.
Uh-huh.
You know, when I was like in one of my marriages, you know, there would be times when I'd be out on a mountain bike ride and I was just feeling just like hell, right? And I'm going, you know what? I just want to get back. I just want to get back. I don't care about anything else.
What about, you know, we've had a lot of disasters down through our history,
yeah.
You know, hurricanes, blizzards, tornadoes, etc. You know, for an example, a hurricane comes through and blows everything all to pieces, and you've got people trapped under rubble. But, you know, what if it's your child?
Yeah.
And everybody's telling you there's no hope, but yet you keep digging and throwing, slinging and everything in that. Just hold it on to that last thread of hope that possibly, just maybe.
I know that somebody's in here.
You can save that loved one, mom, dad, sister, brother, aunt, your son, your daughter, your wife, your grandchild.
It's about the preservation of something very beautiful. It's about the preservation of.
That's what keeps you going, no matter how bad things get.
Yes.
That is a huge part of humanisticness, and it also applies to Jediism.
Right. Now, James, when you were coming up through becoming a minister or a pastor, okay, yeah, I'm kind of putting the spotlight on you here, dude.
Minister. We'll go with minister. I'm not a pastor.
My bad. My apologies.
No, you're good.
Okay, a minister. What was it that during your lessons for that kept you moving forward to that?
What God revealed to me, my purpose for doing what he called me to do, was that I would be able to take the proverbial hell I went through prior to and to be able to help other people just like that get through their proverbial hells.
Okay. So
And that's been my life. That's been my life's purpose ever since.
right. So it was kind of like the learning of what empathy can be. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I
See,
can.
my very I can't say that he knows anything about Star Wars or anything like this, but
Mhm.
and he probably didn't think about it then. But my very first Jedi master was a high school biology teacher,
Oh wow.
and this was, gosh, Star Wars came out in '77, and I graduated '87, so 4 years
Yeah.
prior to that, so '83 or give or take.
Oh, that was like the second one or something. That was like the
Yeah,
second Star Wars.
yeah, The Empire Strikes Back, somewhere in that time frame.
Return of the Jedi, I think. No, it wasn't. It
Nope.
was Empire. It was Empire.
It was Empire.
Okay.
The third one was the Return of Jedi. But the thing is, he convinced me to take the American Red Cross first aid CPR training.
Oh yeah.
I didn't do very good in biology. I'm sorry, I got a D in it, which I thought was dandy.
Well, nobody's perfect, but
I passed barely, but I passed.
Yeah. Okay.
But ever since that time, I had the desire, and it got amplified later when God called me into the ministry. But ever since that time, I started unofficially on my journey to become a Jedi.
Fair. Yeah.
In desiring to help other people.
Right.
And you never know what life is going to throw at you that's going to make a huge eye-opening or the light bulb goes off event.
Yeah. Okay. So, we've heard a little bit from Julie, this other person, James, friend of mine, the almost reminds me of Shrek when I look at him.
Bite me. Xenon, please jump in and tell us to shut up.
Yeah, come on. Don't just sit there. This is like an interactive thing. Come on.
Please.
Well, since you asked nicely.
Yeah, hey, look. Okay, yeah. How are you doing today?
As well as can be. It's a Sunday. No, it's a good day. It's
all right. So, what have you gotten from? What's kept you going? Where the whole you've been listening in. What tell us something.
Boy, you just got a way of words.
That was so informative.
It's just like, okay, we're just gonna like come off the hip today. So anyway,
no, so I mean, everyone has a sort of purpose, right?
Yeah.
And you may not know what that purpose is throughout maybe most of your life, if at all.
Yeah.
But right when you think things can't possibly, so something good can come out of something.
Right.
It's like you instantly shut yourself off from what could possibly be, right? So if you do that, of course, nothing positive or anything good that you would view as good would come to be because you don't want that manifesting in your life.
Okay. Like what do you mean by manifesting? Which part? The good or the other stuff?
Like anything good, positive. Like you could say, "Oh, I want something good to happen today," but it could be something small, like the weather's nice.
Oh, right. Okay.
Or someone says something nice to you or whatever, and but if you shut off the possibility of, oh, today could be a good day, then the small interactions, you won't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Sal, we lost you.
No, I was getting my two fur kids to they're bugging me a little bit. I had to go.
You had to mute.
I had to mute for a moment. So sorry about that. So yeah, go ahead. I was here. I was listening. So yeah, it's that those little things that make everything okay, that make everything all right. And yeah, you've got a point there, Xenon, that those little conversations when we are having a really crappy day, and then just when we think that it's like, damn, I really feel like a little steaming pile. And then somebody says or does something, talks to you. You're like, oh,
Julie's done that to me a few times.
yes,
Pat on the head.
yes. And there's something about her voice, okay, that is just kind of pleasant, that kind of brings you back around. It's a kind of an innocent sounding voice.
Mhm. Now,
And
in all fairness, Julie's been through a
Yeah.
rough way to go.
Yeah.
But she has got so much empathy exuding from her. It's just unreal.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes I wish that I hadn't had some of the experiences I've had that have kind of in a way jaded some of my perspectives and my outlooks and some of my beliefs in some ways. Okay. But yet I'm gonna use this as like Snow White, the Snow White. And again, I'm not trying to drop anything here. It's just when we were kids, that Snow White, that program when we were kids, right? That little Snow White or that little cottontail bunny thing, and
Better Cottontail.
yeah. So that's what sometimes that's what brings us back. And then we're going, okay. It was like I was referring back to that one song. There's that one voice of reason that and there's a line in there that when I don't feel like talking, and it's going to be all right. So that's what those things, those conversations that, yeah, it will be.
Mhm.
We may not realize this. We may not think about that in those moments, in those times. And then you go, oh man, the palm to the forehead kind of thing. You're like, oh yeah. And then that kind of brings us back to where we were kind of off. Yeah, we kind of veered away a little bit. We kind of got caught up. And like in today, people get caught up in the games, social media, this whole, for some people, the whole AI
But
chat bot thing, right? And people get lost in that. And all of those can be very away from,
confusing.
yeah, it can take us away. And there's nothing wrong with that escape. And there's nothing wrong with, say, taking a slight break to kind of reboot, to get our head back so we can get back in the game?
There's a common phrase that one of my business mentors keeps reiterating ever so often. He said, "Do not get distracted by the distractions."
Oh, I have heard that I heard that so many times by my old man. Do not let your get distracted by the unnecessaries.
That too.
Yeah, don't get caught up in the little things or the things that take you away from where you need to go.
Right.
But
keep pressing forward, quit looking to the right or the left. Just keep going, keep pressing on.
Yeah, but I think also we need those other distractions to remind us, hey, didn't somebody tell you don't let this happen? But yet it's going to. But yet, like that voice, what are you doing? You're allowing yourself to get distracted.
Johnny, don't go through those briars yet. You're going to get. You're going to get.
Right.
Briar Rabbit. It's going to hurt you.
Briar Rabbit.
And what does little Johnny do? He goes right through it, and then all of a sudden, I told you so, Sonny.
He come back. He's all scratched up and he's bloody. Well,
and the old "I told you so" comes out.
And we got that proverbial kicking ourselves in our own ass. You know,
hate that.
That, you know, I think in a way that normally we all know that I like to have some kind of prepared lesson.
Yep.
You know, maybe it's half baked. I don't know, but I think today is one of those days where, you know what, maybe this is the lesson today. Maybe this is actually what needed to be brought out. Maybe this is exactly what the real life stuff.
The humanistic.
Yeah, the human thing.
Yep.
And
the human factor.
Right. Because, you know, I talk about all these things, all these very staunch bang, 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 bang thing, right? But yet, is it really worth all of that if the person presenting it and the people that help that person be able to do what they do? If sometimes it's okay to put that list down and to let everybody else, you go, hey, you know, hey, I'm not here. I'm not quite here. And where everybody else comes in. And that's really what I think all of this is about. You know, all the integrity I talk about, all the character, all the responsibilities, the accountability stuff. Why? Yeah. Being able to look at ourselves, go, you know what? I need to put me aside today. And this person does it, and I need to put all my crap away. And sometimes we go, you know what? I'm just being a little selfish little jerkweed today. And
not you.
Not me, not at all. But, and then step out of, don't, you know, get out of that little cave we like to hide in. And so, you know, and I know it's been said, but there's one thing, James, that how come I like having you on here so much. Okay. Sure, I can carry the classes a lot. All right.
We feed off each other.
Yes, there is this thing, that chemistry or whatever, that just, we see things differently. Our spiritual practices and beliefs are different, but yet there's this middle common ground.
Uh-huh.
And our personalities and Julie also.
Uh-huh.
That just makes this work.
And now Xenon's part of this, so she can really
she needs to like
add a little extra oomph, a little spice.
You know what? I have had some conversations with her too. Okay, some good ones, some off the wall ones. Some really off the wall ones, right? Some funny things, but yet, on the other side of it, yeah.
I've written many of her posts that she has shared down through the years, and they are absolute phenomenal. Yes, I believe in giving a pat on the back when they deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been looking forward to the day when I could actually meet her.
Oh yeah.
And today's the first day, and I'm so thankful.
It's different, believe it. She is different when and that it's all cool. It's all very cool in a lot of ways. And I've kind of gotten away from chatting with people online for a little while. Just because of things that are going on in my own life. And people have asked, hey, what's going on with you? What's happening? It's like you kind of disappeared. It's like, well, I just had to kind of bring things back in. Because of my own stuff and in my own personal life that's been going down. So, but yeah, talking with Xenon, oh man, the sense of humor, huh? There's a lot there, and we've had some very good conversations, some very relating conversations, and I've been helping her through some stuff, and so, and she's helped me through some things too, just those long conversations, but I just want somebody to talk to also.
Yep. Please jump in, so we really want to hear more of your wisdom.
Yeah, I want to hear the Chicago and Bostonian kind of thing,
I need more coffee for that one.
Yo, we'll get you a Philly, I know a good guy. I know a good steak down there at the old corner store. When I got Vinny, but you don't want to ask him where his meat comes from. He got this dude in the back.
Your Sicilian accent sucks.
You know what? I never said it was right, but it's mine. Okay, it's what I do. It's made people laugh like hell.
Maybe New York will take you, but we won't.
No. Hey, that's all good, man. That's all good. I'm okay. I'm okay. You ever seen a jawline on a Bostonian? Oh. But yeah. So what's your take on this? What do you think? What's on that mind of yours?
Take on what? Sorry.
Oh. I
think you forgot to ask a question.
See?
Brain fart.
Okay. How are you today?
Okay, brain fart's not exactly a nice way of putting it, but it's a lack of firing of mental synapses.
All cylinders are not firing right now. Just I feel like I'm going down in flames here.
Roasted, toasted, and flambéed.
Oh yeah, I'm just. So, with the conversation we've been having here,
share something.
Yeah.
please.
Something.
No, we're not doing this. Come on.
No. Hmm. I don't know. That's a vague I need some context.
Okay, how about the when we might need to learn something that we thought we knew everything about? No, that's a
Yeah, that's
Bombshell.
kind of yeah.
yeah. When we
Bombshell.
How does a person know everything about
Anything.
anything? That would just be pure ignorance on stating that you know everything.
okay, come on,
Expound, please.
elaborate.
Expound.
Well, considering that knowledge and stuff is ever expanding, what we think about, what we know about a concept, say Earth or space, we may know up to maybe yesterday's information. However, information and is always ever changing. So by tomorrow, what you know is probably a falsehood,
It's outdated.
potentially. Yeah.
Could be.
So
Okay.
I have an example.
Oh,
It speaks. I mean, she speaks.
it speaks.
Bring it on, Julie. Bring it on. Come on.
Well, you can't fully describe anything with words.
Okay.
Like a word isn't what something is. So say you have like a box in the middle of a room. Like you can bring in a bunch of people and they can just constantly be describing that box and we still like it still wouldn't be sufficient. It's not the box.
because we're limited with how we
We're
are
limited
able to
by
explain.
speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll never properly explain a concept or an item to somebody because what they depict, even color wise,
Well, even like
could
with
be different.
colors, there is evidence that people see them differently. Like we only agree upon colors. We only agree on what things mean. We could still be seeing things different from a different perspective, but we're just agreeing on things.
I have a question for you, Xenon.
Sure thing.
Okay, you've got this know-it-all, this arrogant know-it-all, who thinks he or she knows everything about a specific subject. And you know, like you just said, that tomorrow's knowledge could dwarf today's and possibly put it outdated. How do you deal with someone like that? And to show them without being arrogant and rude and out, just out plain out of order. How do you deal with somebody like that to help them to understand that they don't know half of what they think they know?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, first, I would have to first check myself to ensure that I am. Okay, so say for instance, someone has a viewpoint on something, and I have my own understanding of what that is. So before I even say anything, I have to backtrack myself to ensure what I am saying would be factual, and then proceed once I've validated that to a point. Then I would go back and say, hey, I think it was actually this or whatever, and maybe not fully explain, like let them take that step potentially if they're up to it, but just have it like just mention it and not really push it, I find pushing people to their own understanding or reconsidering their understanding just makes them more, I don't, what would be a good word? Animosity, I guess.
Defensive.
Yes, yes.
And they can still get defensive if they disagree with that. And
Right.
it's up to them whether they're going to believe it or not.
See, James was saying something about the thing had been touched on, or the little topic had been touched on about perception and perspective. I think that might also be one of those things, because if we're closed down on our perspective, and
Closed-minded.
yeah, closed-minded, and the perception or the understanding is, we see things one way, yet on the other
You
side,
can get blindsided by that.
right, we get those little blinders on, like like on horses where they're drawing a carriage and it's just like straight ahead. Okay, they got those little flaps on the side that you can't see nothing else. So I think at some point I've been guilty of that, and the best of us can have those blinders on, and then it's because we have those blinders on that it's kind of like that proverbial brick that some little 2.5 foot tall elf or goblin or something from out of like nowheres is ducking behind that little mushroom or that tree stump, and then just hurls that thing and just whacks us with it. And we can't see where it came from because the little dude is like sitting behind there and he's just laughing his butt off at us. And he's like, "See, I told you so."
A little gremlin.
Yeah, that little gremlin. He's like, he's like, so one of those, you kind of want to put him in a skewer and then turn him over a barbecue pit, like on a little rotisserie, just like slow cook him.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he taught you a lesson. Come here, you little weasel. Come here.
Remind me never to make you mad.
I'm not sure I would even want to experiment. I'm not sure I would even want one of those depths. It might scare me. I digress. So, but yeah, that little guy, the little things, I guess, is what that might refer to, is that we can forget about those little things. And I think that's what maybe some of this conversation is about too, is those little things that are so easy to forget about. And have you ever had a conversation with somebody on the street that just may not look like they got all their marbles together? They're absent a few. And, the faculties are not quite there. But yet, maybe there was something in that conversation that was just pure, absolute genius.
I actually had a guy threw a philosophical statement at me. He said, "It's the abnormal people that are actually normal.
Oh, yeah.
They actually know what's going on, and we don't."
I've heard that more than once.
Uh-huh.
That it was that the abnormal actually could be the normal. Because
they could be right and we're wrong.
Right. Because if we think about it, okay, I'm gonna kind of reverse over here. Some of the people in NASA, some of those people are and could be possibly socially awkward. Okay, but yet What are they doing? They're helping put a 50-ton glider with these little rockets on the back of it up into space, right? That help build the space station. But yet, you put them in amongst the people that are like not on the same intelligence level, possibly, like academic wise. But yet, you put somebody like us in that circle of those guys that are just spouting numbers and everything else. And like, well, in theory for this and, you know, all of that. And you're going, wait.
We're dumbfounded.
Yeah, you feel like a Neanderthal, maybe. And then yet, those strange people are putting things up in our space, the space around us, that maybe one day might support civilizations, you know, cultures. So I think maybe that, I know I'm probably going to go on another rant here in a minute, so I'm not going to even try to do the takeaway here, but maybe I will. I don't know. That I think in a way what needs to happen, and this is just my small opinion, my small thought, maybe hopefully there's a bit of truth in all of this, is that what would be wrong with everybody standing back from where you are, taking a step to the right or left? And I'm not talking about doing the time warp, not from Rocky Horror. I'm just talking about just out of ourselves. And trying not to judge what we don't know. Trying to not to be so knowledgeable about everything. And maybe this did come down to that knowledge yet ignorance, or ignorance yet knowledge, just whatever. But maybe it does come down to that.
There's a saying, in order to go forward, sometimes you have to take a couple of steps back to reevaluate and then go on.
I would agree.
Xenon?
Yes.
Yes. So, and I guess what I was trying to get, like, and maybe to kind of go off of what Xenon was talking about, or the whole forgetting what you think you know, because that's what got you here. Thinking we know everything is what got us to where we are, but yet come to find out that I thought I was smarter than everything else. And then that's why my life feels like it's in the dumpster right now, because none of it's working anymore. And then that voice of reason, those voices, those people that we might have shunned, end up going, hey, yeah, you know? And then you're going, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Then we go back to those tools that we were given. Then we can't get back to using a shovel. Or maybe in some cases, a jackhammer to help break down a wall. Or maybe just a hammer. Or maybe just the elegant stroke of a pen. Or maybe just a feather. But I think that kind of comes to How willing are we to actually get outside of ourselves on that? Does it take just that little gentle nudge, that nurturing possibly? Or like our parents probably said to us at times, I need to take you up behind the barn and whack you with a 2x4 upside the head. Knock your head square. You know, put your head back on right. For some people, that's like a very old school saying, very old school think.
Yeah, well, you and I are up there a little bit.
Yeah, but there's still very much truth in that these days.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe sometimes we do need that.
Yep.
It no matter on what level it may be. And it could be just as much as watching a cat do whatever a cat does, whatever their agenda is, which I have no idea. Maybe there's a little meeting of the cat union that, you know, who knows? But
They're conspiring under the car to like
yes,
plot things against my sister, and she gets freaked out by it.
they look at you like,
They
yeah,
all
that one right there.
turn and
That
look
one
at
right
the
there.
same time, and they're sitting under the car.
Burn the witch. Ah! Yeah, but yeah, maybe it's those things, those little abstract metaphorical things at times. And you know, we were talking about the weird people. Maybe those are the people that truly have the answers. But maybe because we don't want to step outside of our own egos and our own conceit and arrogance to just have a listen. And I'm not saying always what we hear. Maybe what we see may also be listening. Observation.
Someone help me with this this old saying that whatever is, whenever you've exhausted everything else, whatever is improbable is what is possible or the right thing or whatever. How's that go?
Whatever we think might be possible can probably be probable, and then we can make it. No. Oh, geez, James.
Yeah.
Something about the possibility can become probable, and then we can make it a reality. Something like that, right? The plausible can become possible, and then from there, I don't know. Somebody who's wants to leave a comment on that,
Please do.
Please do. So, yeah, I've heard something to that effect.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact quotation, but basically, once you've tried everything else and you think that whatever you've excluded is not possibly the answer that you're looking for, and it turns out that it is.
Yeah, that's might have been the answer we always needed, but because it was so easy that we ignored it.
That would be Occam's razor.
Huh?
Occam's razor.
Occam's razor.
Yeah.
Help me out here.
Okay.
Expound.
Let me look up a definition.
I'm surprised Julie hasn't chimed in on that because
she likes to take things in.
Yeah, but she's very knowledgeable on some things like this, and it's just kind of
okay. So it's a scientific and philosophical rule that entities should not be multiplied unnecessarily, which is interpreted as requiring that the simplest of competing theories be preferred to the more complex. So basically, the answer that you're looking for is usually the simplest in form.
Oh,
The most obscure.
oh, I didn't know there was like a official name for the little things that can teach us the most, but wow. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like goes back to that guy that's on the street that is actually like talking absolute nonsense and the pure genius. Some people would see that as a little person. So yeah, thanks. Thanks, Xenon. Wow.
No worries.
Uh-oh. Oh, now my brain's trying to kick in. Now I don't want. I can't do that right now. It's too late for my brain to kick in on this one. But well, for the moment. But yet, what about those little things? What about those little things that help somebody that is so knowledgeable that you can't tell them anything, but yet that little thing teaches them everything where they might have been wrong?
That goes back to the big things come out in small packages.
Yes.
Big ideas come from the simplest of most innocent statements.
Yeah. So, I don't know what came from all of this today. And maybe there's more in this that people, when it's heard, that people might go, oh, maybe I needed to hear that, or it's like these guys are just talking absolute nonsense today. But I think a lot of it was that, like I was saying before, before today's podcast lesson class started, that I found out that a lot of the people, the main age groups that are listening to this, believe it or not, are like in the 20s and then up 50 plus years old. Okay.
Analytics.
But what is it that is causing those two separate multi-generational age groups actually find something in this and then share it?
Food for thought.
Yeah. Is it just entertaining to the 50 plus, or is it actually something that's actually coming of it, and they're actually getting something? And the 20 something year olds, okay, the mid 20 group, what is it that they're getting? I'd like to know. I'd like to hear.
If you're listening to this and as far as or reading the transcript, please leave some kind of a comment somewhere along the way. We would love to have some feedback.
Oh yeah, definitely. And please, one of you people out there are Martians, aliens, and I don't mean to insult, but please chime in. Be a part of this, guys.
Mm-hmm. We may be able to use something you say as far as another topic.
Right. And there's no short of topics here or things for me to get on my soapbox over, or get behind my podium or whatever on. Right.
And you may pose a question that makes us go deeper into a specific subject.
Right. Right. And so I guess that's really what we're asking. Maybe, you know,
We need to hear from you.
yeah, we do. We do, because really and truly, we're putting this out there for everybody to learn from, but also, what is it that y'all can bring for us to gain something from as well?
We want to learn from you as much as you learn from us.
Right. And it might be absolutely off the wall. It might be one of those theories that just, oh, I don't know if I want to talk about this or bring it up. But yeah, when we bring it down and we kind of open it up, reverse engineer it, maybe there's something in there for us to really bring up. So nothing is out of bounds except for things that are highly explicit and that are potentially volatile in topic. Political stuff, all the other stuff that's going down. No, we don't want any of that. But things that people can actually learn from. Real meat on the bone stuff. Things that help people change and grow.
I think this has been very productive today. So I'm looking forward to the next class whenever I can join it again. So I'm really looking forward to it, because this is tremendous. And anyway.
Right. So, okay. I guess my takeaway here is that when we're in moments where we're not listening, and we think we are that wise man on top of the mountain with the long beard, and that we think we have everything where we want it, how about thinking we don't? Standing aside and we get out of our own way and leave your biases where they actually belong, that are truly the trash biases that are harmful for ourselves and others. What would be wrong with that? So I guess that's the takeaway here. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Xenon, James.
It's been
Julie.
a pleasure.
It's been good. And I look forward to seeing all of y'all for the next one. And for those of you out there in the
Listening land.
In the listening land, yeah, please join us. I know we're kind of pushing it a little bit, but yeah, you've got something, whether you think so or not.
Yep.
And if not, we can always make something out of it. Bring something from it. And then
each of you has value.
Exactly. Maybe you're that mortar that needs to go between the bricks. Who never knows? Yep. But anyway, guys, everybody out there, don't ever count yourself as not important and that you never deserve. Okay.
Each of us is unique. Each of us has our own value to society. We just got to find that and apply it.
Yeah. And
you may surprise yourself in the process.
You know, and if things are just so bad and you don't know how to pick up the phone and call,
reach out.
Yeah, do that. Who knows? Your story might help somebody else.
Yep.
So anyway, guys, thank you. Cal Griffin from the Cal's Chamber, fireplace burning, refreshments on the table, donuts in the box, coffee in the pot. Everybody have a good day, good evening, good morning, and somewhere in between. Take care. Love each other. Take care of each other. Bye. Cal out.